Welcome back to the Vi Media channel and another Marketing Monday episode. Of course, I am Eric Brown, president of Vi Media. Today, we have Zach Dixon and Matt McGrail on the episode. We'll have some fun today. You guys have seen them in past episodes. If you haven't, I think it's our most watched other two episodes, besides, I'm sure, some of my entertaining moments here. Uh, Go watch those if you haven't. Of course, after you watch this video, Zach and I have, I think, a 30-minute video on SEO, as well as Matt and I a 30-minute video on ads, where we go in depth and talk about that stuff. Today, we wanted to reflect on the year and what we learned this year. We had a shitload of wins, which of course is always great, but some things that not only hurt us, but really other marketing agencies as well, which from an SEO standpoint was getting rid of the continuous scrolling, which we've talked about in past episodes. Because one thing we do well is we work with, franchises, right? And a lot of the time franchises don't allow the business owner to own their own website. So we work with like Ace Handyman Services and Ramjack and other franchises where we don't have control of the website, and really neither does the business owner. So it comes down to, what do we want to do? And then we decide, hey, we're just going to build out their own website locally for them. And it used to be, when it was continuous scrolling, even if we were on the second or third page, you'd still get a decent amount of impressions. Now we know that Google wants everyone to pay for their ads. So, of course, keeping people to the first page is beneficial for them, not so beneficial for everyone else. Now, I would say that that was one thing. Really, there's nothing to learn from that, just that it killed a lot of momentum for SEO clients, that if you're not on the first page now, like it was, before, back in the old days, because continuous scrolling was with us, for a couple of years. They went back to that thing. But going over some wins. So we have Ace, we have Ramjack. So let's just start from an SEO perspective. I know, Zach, you were talking about Google Business Profile. We've been absolutely killing it for a lot of our clients on that. And we know now more than ever the Google Business Profiles is arguably more important to show up locally, because, of course, it's going to be above the website rankings, right? So talk to us a bit about the Google Business Profile, what we've been doing there, and then, of course, tie it into Ramjack.
Yeah. So like you said, the Google Business Profile, I feel like nearly as important as your website, especially at the beginning through everything SEO wise.
Mhm.
Optimizing it completely, filling it out with as much information as possible, just to make sure not only people visiting your profile have all that info, but you have everything Google needs to know to really start ranking you.
Mhm.
So with that, we go through, we fill out everything completely. We use keywords, fill out your services, write descriptions, link everything, get every single service area you can possibly think of. And another misconception, just to go off that too,
Mhm.
is say you serve outside the St. Louis area, Jeffco and everything like that. Not even worth putting it. If your office is in St. Louis, it's not worth putting those other counties in because you're not going to show up that far
Right.
unless you're in a industry where it's hardly any competitors.
Right.
So we do things like that, and I change that a lot because we go through people who will be in other counties, and then there's so many competitors to the point where it's not even worth it. Let me put you more local cities, and then we start seeing improvements there.
Mhm.
We start seeing improvements with rankings when we do SEO optimized posts, and then kind of the biggest one is where we need help from the business owner themselves getting those reviews.
Yep.
And then with that, we see rankings go up with the profile in the top 3. We see calls coming in, and then on top of that, we see organic website visits too,
Yeah.
and that just helps the website all around and your business all
Yeah.
around.
Well, we know that the Google Business Profile can rank higher quicker
Yeah,
than a website. You
yeah,
build a new website, I mean, you're not going to be on the first page unless, you're in a, let's just say, non-competitive industry, or maybe if you have really deep pockets,
mhm,
you can make it happen quicker. But, most small businesses don't have more than, let's just say hypothetically $3,000 or $5,000, depending on revenue. Obviously, we have clients that spend more, a lot more, but they don't have that much money to spend. So this, SEO is a thing that takes time in the Google Business Profile, making sure you're setting that up correctly. Is like we go through services. Like when we build out the Google Business Profile, there'll be 50 services. And not only us just saying roof repair, we actually have a description of what goes into that as well.
Right.
And you talked about making posts for the Google Business Profile. So we actually tag that stuff, right? It's not just posting. So explain that.
Yeah. So the Google Business Profile posts, what they are is essentially like a social media post.
Mhm.
Same thing you would post for your business on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But we do it to where, like you said, we have an image, we geotag it, which essentially means, we take, uh, add some local coordinates to the image.
Mhm.
The back end code and file size, everything like that. We add those coordinates based on your service area. Say we want to improve in Sunset Hills or something, our
Sure.
top three, maybe we're fifth. We'll tag it in Sunset Hills or around Sunset Hills for other places, and then we'll start creating posts that may include Sunset Hills in the copy, things
Mhm.
like that. So those will just send more local signals to where we serve, um, and just getting us better reach in those areas.
Yeah. Yeah. What if we I'll come back. I'll come back to you in just one second. So Matt, so
Yeah.
with Google Ads, we've gone through a ton of changes this year, it seems like, with how stuff is working, and we're always making changes. I think if we were not, we would not be a successful
Mhm.
ad agency by any means. So, we see unsuccessful campaigns all the time. We go in when it's a new client, it's like, stuff hasn't been updated in months. It's like, obviously, that's a red flag because you need to really be optimizing. We say at first, the first couple of months are the most important because that's when you're getting that original data and you don't have everything as cleaned out as you would like it to be with negative keywords. And then also knowing, hey, we need to bid on this for the, cost per
Mhm.
acquisition and things like that and optimizing that over time. But more and more, it seems like we need to do more work on a monthly basis.
Right.
Especially, I don't know if it seems like there's been a lot of competitors that have come into the Google Ads space, especially in like the last 3 years. Because when we started West County Insulation, there was only, a handful
Mhm.
or maybe two handfuls of people advertising for that. And we know that the cost per lead has like doubled since we started that company.
Yeah, more than doubled.
Yeah. So and obviously St. Louis is different than other areas. And we even have it where we work with, handyman companies. And for some reason, we have an issue with one city
Mhm.
where it's like, this works everywhere else. Why is this not working here? And that's, it's one thing with Google Ads where it's like you can be successful 99% of the time with in that industry, right? We could
Right.
have 100 handyman clients, and for some reason, this doesn't work in this one market as well as it is everywhere else in the United States, and it's very odd. But when it comes to ads,
Mhm.
what's the biggest thing that we kind of learned this year, and also what is the biggest difference that we make for our clients in order to be successful? Because one thing we have on here for this year for ACE, we had an average lead cost of $46.23, 23.6% conversion rate. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
So, what do we need to do in order to have that happen for our clients?
So I think, first off, we need to talk about some of the changes that have occurred in Google Ads. A lot of them didn't even occur this year, but as time's gone on, those changes have just become more apparent in how they've affected the accounts.
Mhm.
Those changes include how they've changed exact match. Typically before, if you had an exact match keyword, Google would only match it to that exact keyword. Now it's much broader than that.
Mhm.
Same with phrase match. So let's say your keyword is roofing company. Um, Before, phrase match would only trigger for a search term that included roofing company in the actual search term.
Right.
That's not the case anymore. So, Google has basically expanded it to where they're trying to get as much money as possible by matching your search keywords to as many search terms as possible. So, while this change didn't occur this year, we've seen more of the effect as time's gone on.
Mhm.
Other changes included how Before you were able to see all the search terms that came in whenever your ad was triggered. Now, with some of our clients, we don't even see half of the search terms that come in,
Yep.
which makes it really hard to filter out the traffic that doesn't have high quality. So
Yep.
if you have low quality search terms and they're not showing up in your search term report, you can't filter those out for the future. So these things have been really challenging. In addition to that, kind of like you alluded to, the competitive landscape
Yep.
of Google Ads has completely changed. There's much more competitors these days, and not only that, but that being an auction-based bidding system, it's driven the cost per click up in all these industries. And really,
It's not scaling with the population of
yeah.
the people.
So the biggest impact that's had on us, with the cost increasing, is it means you need to be much more in tune with every dollar you spend, and you need to turn as many of those clicks into conversions as possible, to maintain a lead cost that's actually profitable for your business, right?
Yep.
So, that includes, as we go into this past year, we've put a lot more focus on landing pages
Mhm.
and conversion rate optimization. So, constantly split testing different variants, different headlines on those pages, different marketing angles, testing different promotions. Google's made it to where it's a lot harder to have success within the Google Ad platform, but you can still control the conversion rate, on the landing page side. So that's kind of, a big shift is that before, you could pull out, all your bags of tricks just within Google Ads and be successful. Now you really need, that 1-2 punch of having the landing page down packed.
And people are still sending it to their website.
Right.
Well, we know that even with, some of our foundation repair clients like Ramjack, that are spending, let's just hypothetically say $120, $140 a lead. And that's with, an 18 or 20%
Hmm.
conversion rate. Um, the industry average is 5%, right?
Right.
And maybe that's been updated in the last year or two. I know that's kind of been the normal number for those in contracting space. And we know that if any of our clients were converting at 5%, we would not have them as a client
No, we wouldn't have a company.
because it would never be profitable for them.
Right.
Because we know now, okay, let's just hypothetically say it is 20% and they're paying 150 a month, right? Well, multiply that now by 4, so now they're paying, $600 for that lead.
Hmm.
That's not going to work for any company. And even if, the handyman, right, at 25%, if that went down to 5%, now they're paying $250 a lead or 230-ish,
Hmm.
whatever it is, around there. It's not gonna work, and that's why most people aren't successful with Google Ads is, well, number 1, they don't know they're not successful with Google Ads, or number 2, they're not converting. They're not converting on those leads, and that comes down to a couple things, right? Not getting in front of the right people, the ad not being relevant to what they searched for, which we see
Hmm.
all the time. You searched best roofing company in St. Louis, and you got an ad that's like, whatever. It's relating to like siding, right?
Right.
And then it goes to the siding page or the home page of a roofing website instead of just, hey, I need roof repair. The ad is best roofing repair company in whatever county you're in or city or town you're in. And then they click on it. The landing page is talking about
Hmm.
roof repair. Call, fill out a form. We'll get back to you. Boom, done. It's It's not rocket science, but there
Right.
is a shitload of data to look at. Like even getting into to Google Ads now to go over with clients, there's a lot of stuff to look at, right? And
Hmm.
from an ad group perspective, I mean, you can break down data any way you want to look at it. You can look at it from a zip code perspective. You can look at it from a conversion rate perspective. But then if you're looking at it from a conversion rate perspective, I mean, how much data do you actually have to go off of? Okay, you converted 100%, but you only had one click.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of stuff that needs to be looked at, and every time I talk about Google Ads, I'm like, we don't charge enough. So if you're listening to this and you're a client, we don't charge you enough. Because there's so much work that goes into looking at this kind of stuff on a daily basis, realistically on a daily basis, especially at first. So we're doing all of that stuff. The other thing we always encounter that's a big issue is just not tracking,
Hmm.
right? We use what converts. We call it Vi Leads because we build it out for our clients, but we use what converts, as well as other tools to track this stuff, and then we're able to specifically see how everything comes in. Is it from Google Ads? Is it from the Google Business Profile? Is it organically from the website? Is it a direct search, right? Someone just directly searching their business name. Is it a referral from, like, we just had someone just had a referral from, you said ChatGPT, right?
Mhm.
Yep, the
Uh
search engine.
yeah, our metal fabrication company that we work with got a lead from ChatGPT, which we should probably I'll talk about this in a couple weeks, but they're releasing a search engine, so that should be interesting. But as far as we could tell, if our clients are showing up on ChatGPT, we're doing something right. Um, so with analytics, like, what are the few things that, for this is for both of you guys, what are some few things that we really need to be paying attention to in order to make sure that our clients are successful?
Yeah, so I think, from an ad perspective, as the competitive landscape has continued to increase, not just by the number of competitors, but also, just the skill set required to be successful in ads. Before you could be mediocre
Mhm.
and still, run profitable campaigns, not so much, more these days. So, as far as, what when you focus on is that, sorry, what was the question again?
So with analytics,
Oh, yeah.
with
Mhm.
KPIs, what should we be paying attention to?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to not just tracking every single lead, but
Mhm.
qualifying the lead. So, this goes back to manually deciding which conversions actually feed back to Google. So you're feeding Google the right data. So
Yep.
where before you could kind of have a free for all where you send every single conversion to Google. Now it's more important than ever that you're sending the correct data back to Google. Um, which in turn means that Google, so long as you're using a smart bidding strategy, is going to continue to find more high quality leads.
Yep. Okay. Zach?
I mean, from an SEO standpoint, a lot of it has to do with the basics. Are we getting steady impressions? Are we seeing growth there? How are clicks looking? Are we seeing growth there, especially during busy months for
Mhm.
our home service companies? Overall rankings, those can vary based on the amount of impressions coming in at one time. And then again, during those busy months, where are our average rankings? Are we where we need to be? And then kind of getting more deeper, you know, our content, when we're doing a content strategy. Um, are we getting traffic to those? How is the traffic? How long are they staying on the page? And
Mhm.
is it actually helping us? Um, and then from there, the content's nice to get people to come to, but what are the money pages doing? If we're a home service business, what are our services pages? How are they performing? How is our homepage performing? And at the end of the day, is it generating traffic? Is people staying on there? And are they converting?
Yep.
So things like that is what I look for.
So before we get out of here, one last thing, backlinking.
Mhm.
What have we kind of learned this year with backlinking? Because we would say over like the last 24 months, we've been really kind of heavily focused on figuring that kind of stuff out. And I know especially this year, we've focused heavily on local backlinks. So reaching out to nonprofits, schools, you name it, reaching out to it
Right.
to partner with them. Sure, it's great. They're getting money. It's going to a good cause. But more importantly, what we care about, obviously, from a marketing agency standpoint, is getting a backlink from a local, not necessarily even a business, but from a local organization, right? And even if, sure, the domain authority is important,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, just having those backlinks, even if the domain authority isn't super high, is going to be helpful because Google knows that's another local organization. So explain that to the viewers here real quick.
Yes, so really just something I've noticed for a while now, and it's basically since the update, it seems more important than ever.
Hmm.
Um, if you're a home service business and you serve a certain region, having local signals sent to your website can be one of the most important things for SEO.
Hmm.
So, something I noticed a long time ago with a roofing company. I look at their backlink profile. It was a ton of local charities.
Mm-hmm.
There were some high schools in there, events around town, and they were all sponsors for it. And I look around too on the rankings, they're number 1 and 2 for nearly every local roofing term.
Yep.
And then it, I look at another industry, the insulation one that we're in too, looking at their backlink profile. Not as much, but it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They do sponsorship for charity work, local charities, high schools, whatever.
Sure.
So it's become one of the most important ranking factors because you can have the best on page SEO, the best off page, or excuse me, technical SEO out there. But, if you don't get the essentially word of mouth online, which is
Mm-hmm.
really what a backlink is,
Yep.
then at the end of the day, it's going to be difficult to rank.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we had a great year. We'll keep it going. As always, this is another Marketing Monday episode. Please like, review, subscribe, leave a comment, share with someone. If you want to come talk to the pros, they're sitting at the table right here. Go to vi.media. You can talk to all of us there. You can reach out to us individually, or just reach out to me, Eric Kemp Brown, across the platforms. Then I'll direct you to these guys. That's all the time we have for today. We will be back next week. Anything from you guys before we get out of here?
No,
All
nothing
right.
from me.
We got it covered.
All right. Happy holidays. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.